Hey all, back for another car ride convo. Glad you could join us. Today, a few topics I want to discuss. But first, let's get through the nitty gritty. If you're not out there sharing love with people, share love with people. Everybody could use it right now. Some need it way more. We got the changes of the season going on. People always get a little bit hectic once we start getting into spring, in the summer. You get to feeling their oats, people doing silly things. Reel it in, and remember that there's other people out there you need to be considerate for. Take a breath. Don't make anybody your victim. And don't think anybody should make you their victim. Outside of that, show love. That's the greatest thing we have to give. Love does everything, unless we allow less. If that's the case, evil will find its way in, because the enemy's always looking for a weak spot. A chink in the armor, that's all he needs. Alright. So I heard something interesting today. It was about disabled veterans and their families not being able to draw their disability if they make over a certain amount. Now I'd like to get a couple things very clear, just so people that don't know have an idea. Your retirement is what you shoot for spending an entire career in the military. You usually set it 20 plus years. Some people can get that sooner, just depending on the circumstances. Could be medical, could be whatever, but I don't need to go into all that. But that's your retirement. You earn 2.5% per year to get your retirement, up to 50% of your base pay. So 20 years gives you 50% of your base pay. Alright, that being said, all things aside, you earn your retirement, you get out, you're good. Now, alongside of your retirement, you have what is called your disability, if you have a disability rating. Now, your disability, above and beyond, that's not something you earn. That's something that, for those who are unfortunate enough to have to experience it, is service-related injuries or conditions. Those occur if something has happened to you caused by or inflicted by your service in the military. That could be anything. It could be a loss of a limb, or PTSD, or depression, sleep apnea. I've seen different things. COPD. So, with that being said, two totally separate deals. Now, right at the turn of the millennia, they had changed it to where you should get both, and rightfully so. One is earned because you served. The other is a benefit caused from something that happened, service related, above and beyond your retirement. Now that benefit is not there to make you wealthy or to give you free money. For many, that benefit is there to cover the fact that if you're 100% and unemployable, you cannot work. So you get done, you're planning on retiring, let's say just over 20 years in a day, whatever. For those who went in at 17, 18, 19, even 20, that puts you at the young age of 40 or 37, 38, whatever. Some will retire up to 30 years, maybe a little bit more, so you can be a little bit older. But my point being is that you're very young and you're still extremely capable. Be it a contractor job at 4 or 5 times the amount of what you made in the military, or just out working among whoever. Some people just get a job that covers what their retirement won't. They want to live a simple life. Everything's already paid for. They've set themselves up properly. They've invested, whatever. Now, that said, whatever the case is, that person with the affliction has earned that benefit because of something that they were subjected to. Now they're stating if you make in your household over $125,000, that you will begin to have loss to that benefit, not your retirement, but your disability, loss to that benefit in the amount of every dollar cost you to over $125,000. Up to $175,000 where you can't have it at all. So anything over 125, they start taking money away from your disability. If you make up to 175, you'll get 0. Now that has nothing to do with what your spouse makes. Your disability is based on your disability, your service-related injuries. So the fact that they are including what your spouse makes in what you will be given for your disability as a military veteran, service-related, that makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. Whatever the other person has done to earn their living has nothing to do with what you've done to earn yours, nor what you were subjected to. So that shouldn't affect anything. What's funny is those who are drawing an unearned income, such as welfare assistance, anything like that, they've not paid into that, be it skin, work, or otherwise. Unemployment's something that you earn based off of the amount of time you work. Unfortunately, I had no idea what that was because I was never unemployed before the military. And all I knew is that I grew up in a house that was always looking for unearned benefits. And when I heard unemployment when I retired, I ran from it because I was always under the impression that I should be earning. And I lost my unemployment benefits, which I could have drawn when I first got out until contracting or tattoo or whatever else. So, let's just keep it straight that for all the outrage of things that we hear today, for whatever the media tells us to be outraged by, I'm going to very humbly ask that anybody and everybody share this message that we should oppose this. We should be very, very direct to any of our representatives. That's unacceptable. We have enough problems with things that veterans face every day already. Any of our representatives that are never served or out there sponging from an enormous medical benefit where they can walk in anywhere and be taken care of at exorbitant amounts of money and no one says a word. As veterans, some of us have to go through terrible service with VA medical centers that are employed by a lot of people that forget that the purpose that they're there is the veteran. I get it that they need to be employed, but that's for the veteran. Be employed to service the veteran. If you're not taking care of the veterans in VAs, that's a travesty. You're doing wrong by them. Any one of us that walks into a veterans medical center and gets less than substantial treatment is disgusting. Especially when other people are walking into emergency rooms for colds that have unearned benefits that have no questions at all. They just get paid. Bills just get paid. I don't understand why somebody like a representative that lives a very easy life gets that type of medical where they can go anywhere, anytime, and not have to be concerned about it. And a veteran has to beg and plead for anything that was contracted to him legally through their service. And if we need to be sent downtown or out into the community, we should be. And yes, those programs exist, but as a lot of veterans can tell you, it's literally like begging to get any type of substantial treatment. And that's terrible. So we already face some of those things. And God bless everybody that works at a VA that is fantastic and totally services every military veteran or anybody that can actually receive treatment at one with nothing but customer service and care. Because they're out there. I was at the one in DC when I first retired. And what a fantastic medical facility that is. But being right down the road from the Capitol building, that's to be understood. Shouldn't have to be like that. You go to Detroit or Battle Creek and you hear some pretty terrible things. Sure, some people get good care, some people don't. Whatever the reason is, whatever the linchpin is in any of the problems, we shouldn't have those. While others are out there earning government benefits for a government that we served for, in many cases, far longer than representatives. And on far better cases, we serve the government better. My apologies if I sound a little bit revved up. I get that way over this because I've seen some of the outcomes of these veterans that don't get seen right away. They go in for what they think are stomach aches, and after months being put off to be seen, they find out that they're in stage 4 cancer because they weren't treated right away or seen by a doctor to validate what the problem was. Everybody should be seen. We shouldn't have to wait on base to be seen. We shouldn't have to wait in a hospital to be seen. We certainly shouldn't have to wait ever in a VA medical center that has our name on it, veteran, to be seen. We certainly shouldn't receive less than respectful treatment. So now compound that with the problems that we see already. I've been sent medical bills after they've sent me into town. They've sent me out into the community for treatment, and I've received medical bills where I'm not supposed to. I'm 100%. I'm unemployable. I can't have a job. Some people can. I can't. I never asked for that. Anybody who knows me knows that I love to work, and I am nonstop and on the go as much as I can be, all the time. I still try to be that, but some of my issues get the best of me, especially when I'm not receiving proper medical treatment. I'm in pain all the time. They're missing windows to send me by medication. I have to call and remind doctors, as I was told, to do their job that they're paid for as doctors to service the patient, which is crazy. So again, I apologize if I'm getting a little revved up or a little ahead of myself. But either way, please contact your representatives, let them know. I know I'm long-winded, I apologize. Contact your representatives, let them know that this is unacceptable for any veteran to have to face the possibility of losing their disability benefits for something that we were contracted for and promised for our service above and beyond our retirement if we were afflicted with some form of disability. That shouldn't be different. They said that it got out of hand around 2000. Do the math. Take an inventory. What happened in 2001? Global war on terror. Global. We didn't start that, but we sure as hell fought it. And many of us fought it after fighting in numerous other places. I travel the world, and I can assure you, the amount of trips away that I spent, which many know is a lot of time away, others spent far greater times and had bigger losses. So all that said, please fight that. Now, some of the other things that are out there, too many hot buttons. Veterans, civilians, or otherwise. I don't frown on civilians. I love civilians. Without good citizens being civilians back here taking care of business, we can't go downrange to take care of business that is our business for this nation. Who wants to hear me say business again? But it's a fact. So when I have a good citizen tell me thank you for your service, I tell them thank you for your citizenship. Thank you for you being the productive person that you were, that took care of this nation while I had to go away. Something that I chose to do willingly, at any cost. Many of which paid that price. I wasn't made to, it wasn't my last choice, it's one of my first choices. My history said that even as a young kid, I knew that if I wasn't going to play football, I was going to go in the military. Or I was going to try to go in the military, specifically Annapolis, to try to play football. And then go in the military. And the story goes, I literally walked in after I knew that football was a partial scholarship and unaffordable by a family that was already pressed for money, and I didn't live at home anyways, that wasn't going to happen. So I walked in, and literally the Marine recruiter was out to lunch. I spoke to the boys in blue, and they made their contract available. Next thing I knew, I was off and loved every day of it. Sure, it's got parts that suck. What doesn't? But I'm going to tell you right now, as far as I'm concerned, I lived the life of a king. I was able to do things that I couldn't imagine doing. And I'm grateful for that. Now, that's the type of person I am. That doesn't mean everybody else does that. That doesn't mean that everybody else has gone to do the things I've done. And their service means no less. And there's plenty that have done way more than what I've done. I'm very grateful for all of them. Now, for all of you civilians out there and citizens that think that the military puts himself above you, please don't think that. That's not the case. Please also don't think that if a tyrannical government was to take over and insist upon our military to go enforce something that was negative against our families, our friends, our loved ones, our communities, I can assure you that I know that the military personnel that would oppose that would be embraced, and we would be fighting for what was right, even if that meant opposing a government that wasn't treating everybody right, which unfortunately we see right now. If we're going to claim equality in anything, equality means equal. Who can get that wrong? That doesn't mean uplifting others above an agenda-driven focus, point of aim, whatever. That means equal. So let's stop and start being equal. Let's stop with the bull crap and start being equal. Actual. We can't hold people thousands of years ago accountable to what they may have done against society. So if we're insisting to hold people accountable from hundreds of years ago, we're being awful forgetful for other things that have occurred. We don't get to cherry pick. As soon as you cherry pick, you lose all equality. There's plenty of things that can be done better. Undoubtedly. Nobody should argue that. And I'm on board for all of them. I had somebody tell me one day that they had looked at a picture of me and they could tell from a picture that I was racist. A picture of me that I was racist. Now, what kind of person would say such a thing to a complete stranger? Well, I don't know that person. But if you're going to make racist comments like that, I can assure you that the basis of that claim is going to be far closer to yourself than it would ever be to me. I'm bigoted. Everybody is bigoted. If that were the case, you'd be buying the same candy bar as everybody else. You'd be driving the same car as everybody else. You'd be dating the same people as everybody else. And don't tell me you're all about all this other stuff, promoting it and how everybody should accept it, unless you're participating in it. People can oppose that. That's what choice is for. Whether we liked it or not, to fight for it, we fought for it. Every one of you that went out and served your country, served it honorably, did what you had to do. We fought for things that we may not like for other people. And as long as it doesn't include victimization, oppression, those things, actual, provable, on point, noted, then we can't just claim that. If we see it, we should oppose it, for sure. I'm going to tell you right now, nobody can look at somebody's picture and tell anything about them. Unless there's factors on there that state very plainly who and what they are. And even then you should question it. Especially in today's day and age. Because there's just far too many things that are promoted that are negative. That aren't truthful about people. For sure, you could have voted for somebody that others don't like and not be a racist. You for sure could have voted for this president and not been questioned about if you were black or not, unlike what he said. You for sure could have voted years ago for somebody in their first term, hoping that there would be change because there was somebody new that could bring some difference, until you realized that that wasn't the case and that they were going to let their people down. And just because that person might be like somebody else, we shouldn't hold high that person's accomplishments or lack thereof when they had plenty of failures. I'm not here to take inventory of who's doing what. All I know is I either vote for them or I don't. I vote for you, you prove wrong, I don't. You lay claims to what you're going to do for your people, you don't do it, I don't vote. Not that way. I can think of plenty of better things over $1 trillion libraries in our name in a city that's overwhelmed by plight, strife, unimaginable violence. That doesn't include that. I can also think of many things that I could do for this nation with billions of dollars to go to uphold somebody else's border and provide them firearms and weapons and armament while people are fighting to keep that out of our hands. And they're not looking to defend our borders. Billions of dollars. Homeless, mental health problems. I'm gonna tell you right now, all these people make these crazy comments about who's to focus on for the things that are going on in violence is out of control. If you are out murdering somebody, it's not because of your race. It's not because of your color. It's not because of your skin. It's not because of your gender. It's because you got problems. Some of you have some terrible problems. Some instability in your mental health that's unmatched. It's evil. That's what they have in common, is evil. Let go of all the beliefs, all the aim, all the focus, all the targeting. And remember that anybody that does wrong is wrong. Period. I don't care what got them there. It's wrong. If you justify it for one and then are upset about it for another, you're wrong. Because that's not how it works. That doesn't take away from the family's pain or agony because Tommy should have had a titty in his mouth a little longer as a baby. Because he should have got one more bag of Oreos in his lunch. Because Tammy should have got more pudding cups than what mom and dad gave her, or a new car at 16. Nobody has the right to go out and harm anybody, period. Or assault, or victimize. Certainly not murder. Murder's murder. I don't care how you look at it. We shouldn't have to qualify it. Oh, but that murder's worse because of this. That murder's worse because of that. That murder's not as bad because of this reason. Justified by some crazy amount of politicization that has no place being in our lives when it comes to death and stealing our loved ones. Get off that chair. If you're following or justifying any of these things because of a side, you're a slave. I don't care what side. Sides are bad. Common unity makes a community. And without the unity to make sure that these things aren't happening, opposing pulling out a camera and witnessing these things, as opposed to getting involved and putting a little skin in the game, skin that comes off of us, you and I. Don't tell me about what somebody should have been doing while you're videotaping when you could have thrown a forearm shrug on somebody and got them off of someone you're claiming that they're oppressing. You had every same ability, if you really wanted to oppose it, to get involved at that moment. Standing back and then crying afterwards, yelling, screaming, causing damage to cities. If you were standing there and could have done something, besides pulling out your camera, you damn right you should have done something. That's on you. Shame on you, no one else. Shame on anybody harming others. Period. None of us should be standing for that. We need one another. We proved during this COVID crap that we couldn't live without one another. Look at all the problems that we had simply by showing the easiest details that we could. We can't not have one another nor support. It's not good for us. We weren't meant to. If we weren't meant to, we wouldn't be able to breathe. We wouldn't be able to bring more people into this world. If that were the case, we wouldn't be able to be here. Keep that in mind. Make no come on. Make no mistake. We need one another. I can't tie my shoes without laces. I can't have shoes without a shoemaker. I sure as heck am not going to shave my head with a butter knife. Somebody's got to make that machine. Or the barber to cut my hair. We need one another. None of you do it alone. The minute somebody tells you how they did it all by themselves, look in the mirror and make sure that you're not going to be that same type of person. Because not a one of us did it. I don't care if you came from the most humble upbringing. Not a one of us did it by ourselves. Mark my words by that. Just be honest to yourself. That's not a side. Nothing I'm saying is about a side. It's about everybody. Everybody and everything. We need those people out there to secure us. We need those people to guard us. We need to make sure we're not allowing people into our communities and within our societies that are not only capable, but have already proven that they're going to do something less than productive, possibly to one of our neighbors, if not one of us. That's unacceptable. There's no flag that we can march under or raise up and claim that victimization by anyone is better because the side tells us that it's okay. If you would not allow the same circumstance in your house, among your family, you don't allow it into this country without being vetted. Period. Certainly, anybody that's proven, anybody that wants to, and anybody that loves what we have here should be able to come here. Should be able to go in any country. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not possible. There's many a country out there that you are not going to step in until you are allowed and unless you've been vetted. And that's way more countries than what many people think. And I'm going to tell you right now, this country should be no different. And for sure, the best of people should have priority. When I say the best, I'm not talking about how much they make. who they are, their skin tone. I'm talking about the best that there are out there that are already helping and willing to help and want to love this nation. How's anybody going to say that this is the worst nation? Number one, we're the youngest. We for certain have caused the least amount of atrocities as a nation starting out over anybody else. There's nations out there that have been around for thousands of years harming people. Thousands. We don't even come close. And we're not even one people. We're diverse. So you can't say all Americans. And for sure, the people that were here before us, bless every one of them, weren't nice people. Those people had evil people as well. Learn your history. Understand. All of you that think that nothing would be happening in this world without Americans going around and causing problems, you're way off. You're way off. We've seen these wars fought for thousands of years before us. We've seen these people battle against one another for hundreds of years before us. And still to this day. Has nothing to do with Americans. Certainly has nothing to do with all of us together, because there's no America without everyone. You damn Skippy, we need some things addressed and adjusted. And it's not going to be done by these greedy politicians that claim to represent us when they don't represent a damn thing I do. Those who have made it there with the same type of dreams and desires to take care of people, positive, and God be with them under any name. But I'm going to tell you, they need to start representing us, because this is unfortunate what we're seeing. And any of them that insist that we divide, you cannot think that that's a good leader. When I was in the military, I would have said, hey, I want you to support everybody out there, back up everyone out there except for those people. Can you even imagine? I can imagine what would happen, because I spent a career doing it. In that atmosphere, we could not do that. Now, that's not to say that it didn't happen. That's not to say we didn't sort through those people. It's also not to say that I didn't see oppression. Unfortunately, I saw some pretty ugly stuff in the military that had nothing to do with combat or battle. And I was less than impressed by some of the leadership that allowed it to happen, because that was just the way that they did things. I stood up for people when I thought it was right to stand up for people, which is what we all should be doing every day. I see somebody walking into a place with a firearm, I'm doing everything I can, including putting my body in front of them, or between them and someone else. My family would hopefully mourn my loss, but hopefully the families that were able to live because of a situation like that would be grateful and think to do something similar if the time were to come for them to do the same. We know that's not the case. Everybody's not cut that way. Just like everybody shouldn't serve in the military. That's not been a fallout for the world's less productive for a long time. Should never be the people that have done wrong serve the military. Those people are skilled. Those people are qualified. And some of the greatest people I know. I don't know any place that's got more diversity. I could get one guy to help me build something. I could get one person to help me fix my vehicle. I could get another person to show me how to make ice cream. Or even teach me how to play a game or some type of athletics. They were all out there. Every day, every single day. Those people were out there. And among don't get me wrong, I spend a lot of time bragging about my career field. And anybody that knows that career field, we claim that we do it better than anybody at just about everything. And it's fun, and it builds camaraderie. But I'm going to tell you, every career field has that. It's full of talented people. That's every branch, every service. But everybody had their faults. I have my faults. Every day I'm learning more of my faults. Man, I don't like a lot of them. Some of them I deeply oppose, and I find myself going right back and being participant in some of the things I don't even like on myself. But every day I'm trying to do better. And I need no high five or pat on the back for that. Because the people it should affect, I can only pray that they see that. And that it rewards them in some way. It's never going to justify any of my wrongs. It just won't. But we need everybody to be doing better for one another. Because as long as we're listening to these people, these leaders, terrible use of that term for some of these people, to go out there and demand that you oppose others off of no other characteristics other than presumptions, that you stand, possibly harm, inflict damage upon, cause financial ruin, harm, even murder, the minute one of you justifies any of that, I don't accept it. The freedoms we have need to be upheld by everybody. And everyone needs to do their part. And everyone needs to stop standing in the line pretending that they're victims. And get out there and show who they are. If you're going to claim to be something great, or from great lineage, or to be a good person, or to have carried a crown of any sort, show me that. You stand with your hand out, that looks like a crown holder, all right. We call them tyrants. And they've been throughout history. Because every time we saw somebody that put one of those on their heads, there was some flaws in there. Some terrible flaws. How have we not learned that that corrupts people? Nobody should be given anything. Everybody should earn it. Those who cannot should be uplifted by their communities. And there should be programs that are insistent upon helping people when necessary, not through convenience, not out of a lack of productivity, not out of a desire to be non-productive unless it feels good to them. We should all participate. I want to thank everybody for watching this who has. Thank you for tuning in to another car ride conversation. I'm heading into a VA today to get some treatment. We'll see how that goes. But thank you all. We have new equipment coming, and hopefully we're going to be doing this far more often and engaging some people that I look up to, and hopefully you all will appreciate and enjoy, or can listen to, or even oppose, because I want it all. But I don't think we have to be negative or violent to do that. I think we can discuss these things. We don't need to hate people for the sake of hate. And that's what's being promoted today. And it's unfortunate. So please don't be that. Be better one another. Show each other love. Be considerate. Everybody started their day with something hard, something hard in their heart. Something heavy on them. Everyone has burdens. Don't forget that. We don't know what people are going through. Look to help, not hinder. Love everyone. Love every one of you. Take care of one another. Bless you.